Before I get started, I just want to plug my own movie really quick. It's called Creature, and it's a movie that I made and produced all by myself. Made it with a couple friends on a very small budget in my house. It's a movie that was made out of love of cinema, and it's just me. I'm trying to kind of learn how to make movies, so this is kind of my film school. So I'd appreciate all of you guys can click the link on the screen, or at the end of the video, or in the description, and go check it out. Maybe watch the first couple scenes, maybe watch the ending, I don't know. Watch the whole thing for all I care. Just, let me know what you think. Leave a comment on that video if you love it, or even if you hate it. You can make me feel bad about myself. But yeah, let's jump right into the review. So I just saw The Color Purple, the brand new film from director Blitz Bazawule, and it's a remake of the original film that was directed by Steven Spielberg, and of course a remake of the play, the stage play of The Color Purple. It's a musical that stars Fantasia, it also stars Halle Bailey, it stars Taraji Henson, Danielle Brooks, Coleman Domingo, Corey Hawkins, and just about any other actor that you can imagine being in this movie is probably in this movie. The movie is a big ensemble drama musical about this girl, Celie, and sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. The movie is this big musical drama ensemble starring this girl, Celie, and we're essentially watching her life unfold, her marriage to this man, Albert, and how it just kind of descends into chaos. Her, her relationship with her sister and all the other people in this little community that she interacts with, the terrors, the horrors, the highs, the lows. There's a lot in here that should be extremely deep and emotional and should make for a great movie, and all together, when you combine that emotional story and the music, which is great, you should have a package here that makes for a fantastic movie. But unfortunately, I do have some problems with it. There are some things that hold this movie back from being what it probably could be on the surface level. And I also want to preference, I have not seen the Spielberg movie, I have also not seen the play, so I'm basing my entire opinion on The Color Purple on this movie. So if the original movie or the play are 10 times better than this, then maybe they are. I don't know, but I'm judging this based on this movie alone. First thing I want to talk about are the performances. Everybody in this movie does their job, and they do a pretty fantastic job, but there are some standouts. There are some people that deliver performances that are kind of what you expect, and then there are performances that are, they're shooting for some Oscars here. Fantasia is great. Now, she's in this movie to do one thing and one thing only, and that's sing. That's why she was cast in this movie, but she actually really pulls her weight when it comes to the acting stuff. She's the main character of this film and has to carry a lot of it, and she does a good job. Halle Bailey early in the movie is also great. She proves why she's kind of like this budding star in Hollywood. She's awesome. Taraji Henson's awesome. Her voice is amazing. But the two biggest stars of this movie by far are first, Coleman Domingo, an amazing actor. He's been one of my favorite actors for years, one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. He plays Albert, who is the husband of Fantasia's character, and I'll say this, I don't like his character at all. I think his character is extremely poorly written, and I'll get into that in a second. But despite the fact that the character is poorly written, Coleman Domingo absolutely kills this performance. He is so good in this movie and should get an Oscar nod in what is an overly competitive Best Supporting Actor category this year. But the absolute star of this movie is undoubtedly Danielle Brooks. She is unbelievable in this film as the character Sophia. She steals every moment that she is on screen. She plays both the highs of this character, the loud, charismatic, with the singing and the dancing and doing all of the physicality stuff that this character entails. And when it actually comes to the dark, emotional stuff where things really get more character-based and sad and darker in the story, she's able to pull both of those themes and both of those tones really well, and you could just see when she's on screen, it's a different feeling. It's a different game. This is an actress at the top of her game, giving the best performance of her life and trying to win some Oscar gold here. She's unbelievable in this movie, and I think if there was anything I'm going to take away from this film, it's the fact that she is a phenomenal actress and was easily the best part of this film. Now I'm going to get to some negative stuff, alright, because there are some things that I did not love about this film. First things first, it is way too long. This thing is like 2.5 hours long, and you could feel the runtime, and it's mostly due to the fact that it is a pretty long movie, and also because of the pacing. Pacing of this movie does not flow well. It just doesn't. Scene to scene, it doesn't flow well. There's a lot that could be cut out, especially in the first, the end of the first act. There's a lot of fluff in this film. And also, my main issue with this film is really the story, and how a lot of things things that happen in this film just don't feel organic. This film almost feels like it didn't have a script, that it had an outline sheet of beats, and they just knew that somehow, some way, every one of these beats in the story had to hit, and they didn't have like the little in-betweens on the outline, between the bullet points, you know, to kind of outline how we're gonna get to these beats, how the characters are gonna develop. Things just always sort of happen, and we're just sort of jumping from set piece to musical piece to character moment to musical piece to turn, and things just don't happen organically, specifically with Colman Domingo's character. And I'm not going to spoil it, but this character goes through a change. And when I say change, I mean one scene he's one thing, and then the next scene he's kind of a completely different thing. And for me, it just did not work at all, and it felt so poor, and it kind of took me out of the movie. But there's a lot of examples of that throughout this film where things, it just, nothing felt real. And when you can't get me to actually organically invest in the story, whether it's a musical or a very, very intimate drama, you cannot get me to invest in it if the moments and the characters that are developing and are changing and are experiencing things, if what they're experiencing does not feel organic, if it feels forced to be this big production and for a movie, if it feels like a scripted scene, it's never going to work. It has to feel like these things are organically happening to these characters, and it never really did for a lot of this runtime. Things just happened because I felt like they had to happen because there's a Color Purple story that this needed to follow. And because of that, I was just never as invested in this film as I probably could have been, and it just took me out of a lot of it. And although, yes, a lot of the musical stuff here is great, it's certainly not the best musical I've seen when it comes to the songs and the choreography and all the different, set productions and everything that they did. It's not the best that I've seen, really, even in the last few years, because I think West Side Story is probably a little bit better than this, but altogether, it's just the story that flops for me here, that doesn't work. I never felt that emotional gut punch that this film definitely wanted me to feel. But in saying that, this movie has phenomenal cinematography, it's got great choreography, it has an amazing soundtrack that I'm sure a lot of people are going to eat up, it has a cast full of exceptionally talented individuals who give their absolute best, it has Danielle Brooks giving one of the best performances of the year, and altogether, it is a fantastic film for families to go and see on this holiday season. I would recommend this movie to literally all of you. It's a little too long, and the story doesn't really work all that well, but those are things that, if I'm going to be honest, are probably out of the control of the people making the film, since this is such an old story. It's a story that's been done for the last 100 years, or whenever it was made. I'm sure somebody's already fact-checking me in the comments, like, oh, it actually came out in, like, 1950s, or fuck you. But either way, I will give The Color Purple a 3 out of 5. It is a solid movie. That's the review. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to click the video on your screen right now and go watch my movie. Leave a comment. Let me know how it is. But that's it. I'll see you tomorrow.